Okay, hola, estudiantes, hola, Stallions. This is a weekly homework assignment, so it's worth 20 points. It's worth quite a bit if you could take it, or I have it in, either have it in assessments or I have it in homeworks. It's worth quite a bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read to you a paragraph at a time in Spanish and then translate into English. Then you are going to make your own video of yourself doing the exact same thing, trying to keep in mind good pronunciation. Okay, here we go. La clase de fobias. Hay un profesor de ciencias naturales que es muy malo. Su clase no es interesante, es muy aburrida. Los estudiantes prefieren el recreo porque es divertido. El recreo es su hora favorita. La clase de ciencias naturales de la tercera hora no es buena. El profesor les da mucha tarea a los estudiantes y los estudiantes tienen que estudiar mucho. Es un profesor muy malo. Now I'll translate into English as you will do. There is a science teacher who is very bad. His class is not interesting. It's very boring. The students prefer recess because it's fun. Recess is their favorite time. Their favorite hora, their favorite time. Science class in third period is not good. The teacher gives a lot of homework to the students. Look at that the for me. That means gives. He gives a lot of homework to the students. That les is an IOP, indirect object pronoun. You'll learn about it in depth in Spanish too. That refers to the students. We don't have anything like that in English, so there's no English translation for it. So once again, that would translate, the teacher gives a lot of homework to the students, and the students have to study a lot. There's that have to do construction there for you. First verb conjugate, second verb doesn't. He is a teacher very, very bad. Los lunes, los estudiantes del profesor malo tienen 6 horas de tarea. Los martes, los estudiantes tienen 5 horas de tarea. Los viernes, los estudiantes tienen 9 horas de tarea. Los estudiantes nunca pasan tiempo con amigos porque estudian todo el fin de semana. Durante el almuerzo, los estudiantes hablan en secreto. Tienen un plan. Mondays, the students of the bad teacher have 6 hours of homework. Tuesdays, the students have 5 hours of homework. Fridays, the students have 9 hours of homework. The students never spend time with their friends because they have to study all weekend. During lunch, the students talk in secret. They have a plan. Un día de diciembre, los estudiantes ponen unos ratones grandes en la sala de clases del profesor. No son ratones de computadora, son ratones normales. El profesor ve un ratón, grita, ¿qué es esto? Los estudiantes le dicen que no ven nada. Ahí, grita el profesor, al lado de mi escritorio. Once again, we're going to go back and translate. One day in September, the students put some big mice in the classroom of the teacher. They're not they're not computer mice. They're real, normal mice. The teacher sees a mouse and he screams, "What's this?" The students tell him that they don't see anything. There, shouts the teacher, next to my desk. So grita is a new verb for you. That's the verb to shout. Grita. Gritar, to shout. Pero los estudiantes insisten que no ven nada, ni debajo de la mesa ni detrás de la puerta. Un ratón se sienta encima de la mesa. Hay ratones sobre el pelo de una chica, pero ella no grita. I am getting the creeps right now. Los estudiantes no dicen nada. Dicen que quizás el profesor les tiene fobia a los ratones. El profesor salta por la ventana de la sala de clases gritando. Los estudiantes van al recreo. El profesor va a la oficina de un psicólogo. Le dice al psicólogo que es posible que tenga fobia a los ratones. But the students insist that they don't see anything, neither under the desk nor behind the door. A mouse sits on top of the desk, or on top of a table, I should say. There are mice on top of a girl's hair, but she doesn't scream. Yeah, right. The students don't say anything. They say that perhaps, maybe, quizás means perhaps, or maybe they say, dicen, they say that perhaps the teacher has a phobia to mice or of mice. The teacher jumps through the window of the classroom screaming. The students go to recess. The teacher goes to the office of a psychologist. He says to the psychologist that it's possible that he has a phobia of mice. Un día de octubre, un estudiante va a la escuela con su león. El león del estudiante entra a la clase. El profesor grita. Los estudiantes no se mueven. Le dicen al profesor que no ven nada. El profesor salta por la ventana. Los estudiantes van al recreo. El profesor va a ver a un psicólogo y le explica al psicólogo que es posible que tenga fobias y que tiene alucinaciones también. So now we're in October. One day in October, a student goes to school with his lion. The lion of the student enters the class. The teacher screams. The students don't move. They say to the teacher that they don't see anything. The teacher jumps through the window. The students go to recess. The teacher goes to see a psychologist and explains to the psychologist that it's possible that he has phobias and that he even has hallucinations also. Un día de noviembre, los estudiantes no quieren tarea. Miran el reloj. Son las 11. No es la hora del almuerzo, es la hora de la clase de ciencias naturales. Un estudiante entra a la clase con una botella grande de salsa de tomate. Mete el dedo dentro del sacapuntas, se pone salsa de tomate en las manos y grita y llora como un bebé. Ahora el profesor les tiene fobia a los sacapuntas. One day in November, the students don't want to do any homework. They don't want homework. They look at the clock. It's 11 o'clock. It's not time for lunch. It's time for science class. A student enters into the classroom with a tomato salsa bottle, which would be the same thing as ketchup. A bottle big of sauce of tomato. That would be a big bottle of ketchup. He sticks his finger inside the pencil sharpener. He puts ketchup on his hands and he screams and cries like a baby. Now the teacher has a phobia of pencil sharpeners. Those kids are evil. Jeez. Ok, durante la séptima hora, el profesor va a la oficina del psicólogo otra vez. Le dice al psicólogo que es posible que esté completamente loco. El psicólogo le dice al profesor que necesita un horario más fácil y que tiene que tomar vacaciones largas. El profesor pasa unas semanas en Costa Rica. Los estudiantes van al recreo durante la tercera hora. Okay, during the 7th period, the teacher goes to the office of the psychologist again. Otra vez means again. He says to the psychologist that it's possible that he is completely crazy at this point. Notice the este. That is the subjunctive mood of Spanish. Think of it as está. It's the same thing as está. It's just they have to use something called subjunctive here. You'll learn about that in Spanish 4 and 3 and 4. The psychologist says to the teacher that he needs a easier schedule, horario, a schedule, más fácil, easier, and that he has to take some long vacation. He has to take a long vacation. Remember, the word vacation is always plural in Spanish. So the teacher spends a couple weeks in Costa Rica. Sounds heavenly to me. The students go to recess during the 3rd period. So I know that's a kind of a silly story, but chicos, if you could please believe me that by reading Spanish, you are doing such a service to your brain. You're taking stuff you've learned, you're seeing it in the context of perfectly written sentences. You're learning so much. It's really going to help build that base of yours. In Spanish 2, you're going to go in with such a strong base because of all of this work and effort you're putting in. It doesn't go unnoticed. I greatly appreciate it, and I admire my Spanish 1 students so much. Gracias, estudiantes. Please submit this as a homework assignment. Gracias.